I can hear you, Lisa. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you
Yeah,
doing? Yeah.
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you so much. Yes. I had to rush back, dropped off my boyfriend at work, and then I had to go to storage. We're trying to get rid of the storage. It's $164 for storage.
I know.
That's a car payment.
Yeah. You don't need that. I mean, I would
No,
imagine you've got tons and tons of like wrestling stuff, so I'm not shocked to hear you have storage.
that's what I did bring home a whole bunch of bags that I'm gonna be posting stuff for sale, that kind of stuff. And I brought some clothes that I don't want to get rid of, and then I dropped off 4 garbage bags to the homeless on the street. So it
Oh,
was so difficult because it's girls' clothes, right? I'm
sure.
looking for female homeless people.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I was going up and down the street, and I don't want to give it to anybody on my block because I don't want them to camp out on my street. You know what I mean? So I kind of went kind of far out a little bit, but I couldn't find any. And I finally found 2 girls. I said, "Hey, I got some girl clothes in here." I go, there's jackets, it's getting cold, that kind of stuff. There's brand new baseball caps. And so, yeah, that's what I do. And I was like, "Oh no, I got to go back. I have an interview at 11 that I thought."
I feel terrible. Like I interrupted you doing like Santa Claus style charity work to talk wrestling with me.
I did my charity. I'm going to go after this interview. I'm going back to storage to get more stuff and get, that kind of stuff. But I needed a break because I was getting really upset. Like, when you're organizing stuff, how you're just like, it's just anxiety kicks in. You're like, "Oh my God, look at all this crap I have." I go,
Yeah.
"Do I want this? Am I gonna ever wear this?" No. Like, I'm sorry. That's my alarm to remind me about you.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. No, I'm the same way. I get anxiety because I have like an emotional attachment to too many t-shirts. I have like 100 t-shirts over here, and I'm like, I don't know. I remember who gave this one to me, and maybe I'll turn it into a quilt someday. I can't get rid of it. I've developed too many attachments.
That's nice. But you don't have a storage unit, right? It's in your place.
Yeah, well, no, but someday it's got to build up. I feel like I tell people I live in an AV room.
You do.
Like I have accumulated so many like electronics and different things over the years. I probably need a storage space at this point.
So. I don't know. No, it's not worth it to get the storage. I'm going through stuff. I'm going, yes or no. Like, I'll make a decision, right? It's just too much.
Yeah.
Way too much stuff. I'm just wasting money. It's in storage. What am I going to do with it?
Sure.
Let someone else enjoy it, right? So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
My girlfriend watched whatever that series was, I think on Netflix, about that woman who was all about decluttering. I don't know if you caught that or not. Like, it's all about organizing and things like that. And so we went.
What's that called?
Oh man, I'd have to ask. I can.
Okay, you can.
I'll DM you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah. She went on this whole. She taught me how to fold different things and like how to make decisions about what to keep it all. So we went through a purge a couple months ago on a lot of stuff. It was helpful. I just never.
Yeah, it was, right. Yeah, and I'm one that doesn't like clutter at all. Like I'm very contemporary decorator, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I like it very simple and clean and fine lines. So sure. I'm not really a tchotchke collector.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I have a Xena action figure,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sell it.
That's about it. See, because like for me, it's like I'm glad I hung out all this stuff because I finally have like my own home office, like a room for myself.
Yeah.
And I can like make it look like a fancy pro wrestling news set now with all of my pro wrestling items.
It's perfect, and it's not even a fake backdrop.
No,
that you blend in with. You know how sometimes you disappear?
Look at that. Look at that. It's not a green screen. That's the actual British Bulldog right there.
Wow.
I think that's a $2 item right there.
Wow. That's my fear when I go to Comic Cons. My fear. Are we recording right now? By the way,
I'm recording.
Good. Record. Keep on recording. Organic is everything.
We'll just keep going from. I'll just do the intro now. It's like, hey everybody, we're here with Lisa Marie Varon. Alisa, it's wonderful to reconnect with you. Anyway, keep going. That's fine.
Okay. We can do another re-intro at the end if you want to do properly.
No, I think this was good. This is
okay.
I didn't say. I'm sorry. Wait, I didn't give you the two-time WWE Women's Champion, one of the hosts of GAW TV, which we'll talk about here in just a second.
Thank you for that. But my fear is when I go to Comic Cons or the swap meet, because I love the swap meet. Ours is outdoor, used and new items. It's like a whole big drive-in theater or the sports arena that they convert it to.
Yeah.
And my fear is to go. I look at a box and there are all these loose action figures. And they're like, for $1, my fear is to find myself in that dollar bin.
Oh, it's just because like there was so much merch made around you, right?
Yeah, no, there is not a lot of action figures of mine because I get a lot of requests. Hey, do you have action figures? And I'm like, dude, I'm still looking for some too. Every time I go to Comic-Con or Wizard World or something like that, I'll go down the aisles and say, hey, do you have a Victoria action figure? And then I'll buy them all.
So wait, why is that? Why didn't you get a whole bunch of that surprises me. I guess like I at the point when you were active, I was like in my teeth.
You would think, right? I don't know. Maybe they thought the female heel wouldn't sell a lot, but yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know. It's not my decision. I wanted more.
Sure.
More. Gimme.
You got some action figures though, right?
I got 7.
That's a lot of action figures.
Oh, no. I mark out every time I go to my parents' house because I don't have my display of myself nothing's wrestling hung up at all. I have one thing. Let me show you.
Yeah, let's see what the merch is that the member that you keep. By the way, beautiful kitchen, all red and white. That's gorgeous that you got in the background there. Very Christmas.
You hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. A fan, his name is Chris Lopez, designed this action figure. Barbie. He designed the box. Look how professional that is.
Whoa!
It's a one of a kind. I know. And the words are all the things you said, running through my head. And it's my red gear. And he even added the knee brace. God, this light. I'm sorry, my ring light.
No, it's fine. We can see. That's a custom? Wow.
Yeah. And his sister did the makeup for me and bleached the hair for have the red streak. And that's the only thing I was like going, oh my God, this is freaking cool. And it's my hand behind me, like my hand with the eyeball.
Yeah.
Come on. And then my only collector thing that doesn't really go with my motif is
whoa, I almost got that for my girlfriend. She's got a Porsche.
Costco. $20.
What?
Costco, $20.
That's a nice looking one too. That's like one of the fancy ones. It's a high end one.
I was shocked. I looked at it. I go, oh my God, it's $20. We don't need it. And he's like, no, get it. And I was like, okay, I am going to display it. You know what I mean? It's one of my favorite movies. And how about huge pop that Sasha Banks was on there?
I'm gonna ask. That was my follow up. Did you see Sasha Banks?
Holy crap! First time in my career that I've ever been jealous because I'm like, I'm a Star Wars freaking geek, like full on geek. Maybe not a collector, but
it's interesting because for a long time in wrestling, like the men, like Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, now Roman Reigns, like they're the ones. But I feel like we're at the age of the female wrestler taking the lead when it comes to Hollywood between what Sasha's doing and what Becky Lynch did on Billions. I hear she's got a lot more projects on the way. You agree? You think it's time for the women to rise up?
Heck yeah! I could not believe it. And how I found out, we were behind one episode, just a day. That's it, because we like to watch it together, and when we're not sleepy, because we don't want to fall asleep on it, right?
Sure.
And David goes, hey, one of my coworkers is a wrestling fan too. His coworker said that, do you know Sasha Banks? Because he doesn't know wrestling at all. And I go, yeah. He goes, she's on Mandalorian. I go, are you kidding me? That's freaking huge.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's crazy to me. I was like, I'm so happy and proud, but I was like, oh, wow. In Star Wars, that's big. That would be, I can die tomorrow.
So when you're assigned WWE wrestler, maybe you can answer this because I've got a lot of various shades of question along this. So when you're a WWE wrestler, you get offered a Star Wars role. WWE then has to approve that you can go do this movie and everything, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And they sometimes shows will go like this. I want this character. They're like, how about this character? And so, whoever they want to push a little bit is, going to get the spot sometimes, because you get a lot of requests that you don't know about until you go to some signings or I contacted WWE about this for you. And I'm like, oh, what'd they say? They either never got back to them or they recommended somebody like that kind of, I don't know.
Wow. Oh, that's gnarly.
It's okay.
I've never heard that. So these people,
I think Nick, that, back in my days, we did, they wanted us to full on focus on wrestling. You know what I mean? So then like later on towards the end of my WWE, that's when they started pushing people to do like Kane doing his movie, Cena and The Rock, you know, all that kind of stuff started happening. I think I was maybe late in the game. I mean, you know what
Bummer.
I mean?
Well,
Yeah, for the females, for you know what I mean?
well,
But
but
it's
like,
awesome that's finally happening.
yeah, for sure. And well, like the other thing too is like the women right now, like the story I was reading this morning is like some of these women were making like so much money, like they were making more money on like Twitch and Cameo than they were at the WWE, right? And I'm sure had you had a lot of the same avenues available to you that these women have right now, you'd have probably doing the same thing at their age, I would imagine, right?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I of course we had Paige on our show, Soraya,
Right.
and she does Twitch, but I'm gonna be honest, that's her full-time gig. Like
Huh.
she's on it. Like I get notified when she goes live.
Yeah.
And because we were thinking about doing our show on Twitch instead of just YouTube, and we don't know anything about it. You know, we're so like the special effects, and then like when she hits a certain number, like a dancing character comes. Like there's a lot of nitty gritty, and like
There
what
is.
we for our show, Val does everything. SoCal Val does
Yeah.
all the editing and all the stuff. You know what I mean? We have other people helping us post on Instagram and Twitter. Big shout out to Ian and Ella. They help us, and Trey. There's like fans that help us. Oh, I made this edit for you. We'll use it. Thanks. It's advertising. You know what I mean? We don't know how to do all that graphic stuff. I'm really horrible. I
Yeah.
feel like my mother and my father learning how to use the remote and the VCR when it comes to this. It's a
Yeah.
lot to learn, a lot of editing, and what platform do I use? What, like, you know, how did you even do that edit? I wouldn't even know what, you know, I wish I took a class on that. You know, now it's
Mm.
right.
It's easier now to just hire somebody to do it. You know, somebody to
Yeah,
trust you get a good rate.
it's
Yeah.
true. And you have to have all day to do it. You know what I mean?
So like
Yeah.
with Paige, she's still signed with WWE. So how is she still getting to do Twitch stuff? Is she just bucking the system and just saying, you know, fire me, I dare you? If
No. I think
They-
she's contacted the right people, and
Okay.
you know, maybe like I have no idea. We have not talked about this, so this
Sure.
is I honestly I know nothing, but maybe
Yeah.
they're like maybe they get a cut, you know, because she's doing so well on it, you
I
know.
guess so. I don't know, because like that's the thing is like I read this morning, I kind of, you know, vetted over the weekend. You know, it sounds like Zelina, you know, Vega kind of was given the choice, you know, do you want to keep making that Twitch money or you want to work here? And she chose.
Was that the reason, or
That is the widely reported reason. And I had a source very close to Zelina tell me that that was the reason that is for it falling apart.
I don't know, like you got to kind of pick and choose your battles a little bit, like you know, like going, hey, if you want to work with me on Twitch, I would love to be on WWE platform and have the WWE Twitch under Zelina's account. You know, I mean, you know what I mean? Like at least merge and give them the option. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of headaches. Like, do you feel for all these performers when you hear these stories about how WWE is like, you know, because you could do whatever you want. Like you're free clear.
Yeah.
GAW TV, make all
but
the
you know,
what elsewhere, you know.
But Mickie's part of GAW too. But they did reach out to Mickie and say you can still do the GAW thing. You just can't do. You can do Patreon, but not your own Patreon. We have a GAW Patreon.
Okay.
You know, as long as it's about our show, because ours is not technically just about wrestling.
Right.
It's mostly relationships and
it's a lifestyle. It's lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. We talk about normal crap that, oh my God, you're not gonna believe what happened to me today. You know what I mean? It's just us in our pajamas drinking wine and taking, you know, just, hey, I got this asked a lot on our Twitter, that kind of, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's more of a casual, we're in our PJs, you know, you're just eavesdropping of us talking and goofing around and seeing, like, as Val explained it on one of the shows, she's like, fans get to see what she knows. Like she knows Lisa and Mickie on a personal level, like outside how we really are, instead of just that hardcore wrestler or, you know, that heel or psychotic person, that we're actual really real humans, you know, that, you know, we go through the same crap everybody else goes through, you know?
Sure. Lisa's not actually taking tarantulas and putting them on people's faces and things like that. That's not who
Absolutely
you are.
not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay, got it. Wonderful. Just making sure.
Completely different. It's bonkers. And when people meet me, like at comic, like when I do my signings, they're actually surprised how nice I am. And I'm like, you know, we play a character, you know, you don't go to Darth Vader and saying, "Oh my God, you're so mean on TV. I mean, on your show. I mean, on the movies.
I just,
He's a character, you know."
well, obviously, like, I'm in Chicago. Like, you used to live you used to come visit me at the deli when I worked at Whole Foods. Like, I'll never.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
so miss it. Our Whole Foods is too far away.
Well,
Yeah.
I no longer. Luckily, no offense, I love Whole Foods. They were fantastic.
I know.
Luckily, I have a different gig now where I don't cut meat all
Thank God, right? Yeah, thank God. And then this is your passion too. So you're very lucky that to do what you are into. You know what I mean?
Well,
But,
sure.
and also,
Even
yeah.
when I was slicing meat, I got to talk to you from time to time. That's like pre-pod. That was just podcasting with no microphone. Just
I think you saw me at Whole Foods so much. This is when I'm doing well. Like my finances we're not going through this COVID crisis. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I won't go into Whole Foods. I'm like, I'm not going to spend that kind of money. You know, like, when you're on a budget, you have to be on a budget, you know?
And they're owned by Amazon now. The whole model's different. Like when you used to come by, it was still owned by a bunch of hippies. It was different then. So
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
The hipsters. Yes.
Yes. Anyway, the reason I bring this all up was to say, like, you used to run the Squared Circle here in Chicago, and like all the fans got to know you in Chicago on like this very personal level. You were throwing parties, you were hanging out, like you were a lot. I know a lot of people that really miss that place. They kind of miss the culture you created here in Chicago.
I hear that so much. I mean, honestly, I do miss it too. It was such like a family. When my job was, my ex-husband was a chef. That's why people ask me, "Are you going to open another restaurant?" I can't cook like him. He's an amazing cook.
Right.
I was the people that, I went to the Comic Cons, the Wizard Worlds to go pass out flyers, the C2E2, pass out flyers to come to see, can I take a picture with you? I will at the restaurant. If you come into the restaurant, you know what I mean? To get a burger, I'll take a picture with you. And part of it was at nighttime, we showed wrestling every single night. So I'd go table to table and table, eat with everybody. And the pay-per-views were wild. We had to have security out there because to watch the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The Square Circle was a spot. And I always I took pride in, like, if someone came in by themselves, like wrestling fans, a little socially awkward, a little bit, a little quiet. And if they came in by themselves, I go, "Oh, hey, are you here for wrestling or are you here just to eat?" Or like, I'm for both. I'm a wrestling fan. And I heard you're here. And I was like, "Oh, are you, okay, how many people are with you?" And he goes, "I'm just by myself." I would sit them with a table of 3.
Yeah. No, I believe you actually did that a time or two. I remember you just introducing me to other people at Squared Circle pretty commonly. Yeah.
It was regulars. It was like, "Cheers. Hey, Norm." Like, it was so common to like see the same customers all the time. And it was my hangout and my, what we all have in common, was being a wrestling fan. You know what I mean? So It was exciting. And people, I think, tripped out most too, how much I mark out when I was watching, wrestling on TV, going, I didn't know Undertaker was going to lose. They all looked at me like, "Is that supposed to happen?" I go, "I don't know. I don't like it." Oh my God. You know what I mean? I was like, "What the hell?" Everybody in the restaurant was like, and looking at me, I go, they think that we know the behind the scenes. We don't really know what's going on. Once you're out, you're out. You don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
So,
okay.
Yeah, but I do miss it too. I do. I really do. We had awesome food and freaking amazing people there.
So wait, real quick, while you brought up Undertaker, so you're talking about Mania when he lost to Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That was our pay-per-view. It was people were at our window. You know how we had like an L-shaped window?
I do.
That's all. It wasn't all surrounded by windows. People were watching the WrestleMania like this through the window. That's how we had security, because you can't, the fire safety hazard and stuff like that. You can only have a certain amount of people, but we did community style seating on pay-per-views.
Right.
But it was so much fun. We would have a guy that was a customer that dressed up like Bray Wyatt, and I'd say, and he had his lantern. So I'd say, "Come in the kitchen. Come here, hurry up. The kitchen." We would turn off all the lights when they came on, and he'd come out, and we would just do the march all the way around the restaurant. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was like you're a kid in a candy store. It was so much fun.
So wait, real quick with the Undertaker stuff though. So like he's taking his final farewell this Sunday at Survivor Series. A lot of people, think it'll be retirement or maybe set up one-way bash. But anyway, this is like the end of the road. What was your time like working with him? What was your relationship like with Undertaker? What do you remember about him?
Oh my God. Of course, when you're new, you're always on tiptoes and you're like, "Oh, can I joke around with this legend?" You know what I mean? You're working with all these legends. And I was there long enough where I can make jokes and stuff like that. I went to their wedding, him and Michelle's wedding. It was very small, maybe 30, 40 people. And he got emotional, and I was like, your whole gimmick now, like with the Undertaker, has just, it's crumbled in front of my eyes. But I used to say, you know, I think people were shocked in the backstage because we would watch by the gorilla, not live, but there's a screen, the monitor, we can watch the show.
Sure.
And so back in our day, we're not allowed to leave the building. You watch every match. Even if you already wrestled, you don't leave. It's disrespectful to the people that are working hard for the main event, you know?
Sure. I've been told that.
So you should be supporting your coworkers, you know? And I would say, you know, right before our match, I go, hey, Taker, you're not doing the old school spot, are you? Or should I take it out of my match? And he would go, you probably get a bigger pop. Like, it was the joking, like we would, we got to know each other very well. He's actually a funny guy. It's just, you're intimidated because his whole character, and he's a big man, and yeah. He's a great guy. Perfect for Michelle. They make a great couple. So happy for her.
Would you rather see him be like this, be the big wave of the hat retire, or would you rather see the one more match? How do you personally feel about which way?
Okay, well, of course I don't want to see him retire. Okay. And wrestlers should not say retire, because you never know where you're going to see our ugly faces back. Right.
Okay.
But his body, you know, you got to take care of your body and your family, and start thinking, you know, I got to be able to walk and take care of myself. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he's been doing it forever, you know, and I really, my personal opinion, not that I know nothing. I'm so out of the loop, Nick. I really don't know anything. I had to find out that Thea was let go from Mickie or Melina. Okay. Someone said, oh, yeah, that kind of, you know, they're like, oh, did you see on Twitter? And I go, I only go on social media to post stuff for GAW, and then I go on mine, and I might go look a little at 20 of them down. And then I'm like, okay, this is too much. Because I watched the movie Social Dilemma, and I'm like, so take family time, get off your phone when you're at dinner, or that kind of stuff. It bothers me when I see people on their phone when they're with somebody, you know what I mean? Even sure. Hanging out with friends, you know? And what was my point of this?
You were talking about how you stay off social media. You found out about the Taya news.
Yeah. I'm so out of the loop. Right. Yeah, but about Undertaker.
Do you feel Undertaker? Yeah. So Undertaker should retire, or you think one more match? What do you think?
I just want him to do what's happy. Of course, I want to see him still wrestle, because no one is Undertaker. There's no one that can compare and draw that much of a crowd and still get the biggest pop of the night, and just, you know, and he's old school, and, you know, it's people's childhood, you know, watching him do this for so long. But, you know, you got to think about how long can I do this for? I got to really listen to my body. And a lot of us don't listen to our body. We still work through injuries and not be able to turn your neck and stuff like that. And it's sad when you see some of the legends like backstage, and they're walking like this. They're like, their back and like everything. You're like, oh man, how do they turn it on so quick when they go out there? Yeah. You know, I did not know they're so beat up. You know what I mean?
The one that I always think of when you talk like that is, man, I've seen Kurt Angle at several events, and like how that guy goes from being like walking around at signings and stuff to like watching him wrestle his last few matches. I was like, he moves like a different human being when he's in a wrestling ring. It's incredible.
It's nuts. That is nuts. I just think adrenaline is a freaking amazing drug, you know, that your body, and of course our egos are so big, like you don't want anybody to see you slow down. You still want to be that great performer that people remember. So there's a lot of pressure there too, but yeah.
Well, what about you? I know you said 2019 you thought was going to be your last year. You say nobody ever really retires. You done? You got one more in you? How you feeling right now?
You never know. I'm not in talks with anybody. If anybody's going reading into this at all, but it would have to be a good scenario, not just for a cameo, like being brought back, or just like walking down the hall, you see Victoria back. Hey, have a good match. I wouldn't come back for, like, you know.
So like AEW right now, a lot of people saying that like their women's division is not where WWE's. A lot of people would say like they're rebuilding. Would you be open to coming in and being like a more veteran presence in a division like that, where It seems like they could use maybe a couple veteran presences.
I'm open to it. Like I've always wanted to be a trainer for the new kids. Do you know what I mean? And being like an agent or something like that. I have a lot to give back. I think I learned a lot. Going through a lot of mistakes in the business, like what not to do on TV. That like that kind of stuff. And I think I have a lot of knowledge to share. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I had to open to discussion because, traveling is, I don't know, like if I can do 4 days a week again, you know what I mean? And have a normal home life. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
That's a tough part. You're sacrificing a lot to go back. You know what I mean? So it'd have to be, of course, financially, what's the word am I looking for?
Viable.
Yes. Yes. And something I would enjoy, and I would have to like see how the locker room is and see if I get along with everybody, or do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
I just don't want to go to a miserable atmosphere. I still want to be in a positive atmosphere.
A couple things, because like one of the questions I had actually on my sheet here, I've used very few of the questions on my actual sheet because I'm just enjoying the conversation, but like something I thought about was like talking about you and like the veteran presence you bring and the idea of you being a producer. Like there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of WWE female producers. Like it still seems like a bunch of dudes running the show, even including like the women's matches. Have you talked to them about possibly working in that kind of capacity?
I talked a long time ago, like when I first when I got divorced and I moved back to California. So I was living with my brother Mike. I have 3 older brothers, so the middle one, and I was living out of boxes. Like I didn't want to unpack because they contacted me about maybe possibly bringing me as a trainer, and then I was calling. I go, "Hello guys," I go, "I'm living out of a suitcase." I go, "I have 1 suitcase here at my brother's house." I go, "Do I get an apartment? I can't invade my brother's family's home, even though they're open arms and like, you can stay as long as you want, but you're still like going, I'm an adult. Like I need my own place, I need to set out my stuff. And do I unpack?" And I didn't get, I finally called Fit Finley and he goes, "Oh, they already hired somebody for the training spot." And they went with Sarah Stock, which is a great choice. I love her.
Yeah.
She's going to be a future guest on our show, that kind of thing. And, I just wished I got a call back just to say, "Hey, we're going to go with somebody else. You can go ahead." And then as soon as I got the call, I was moving in with Tori Wilson in LA.
Oh man. Well, and
so I was on hold. I was like, okay, it's been 3 months. I'm at my brother's house. My brother's like, "Have you heard back?" And I go, "I called, but you don't want to be a nag. But at the same time, you're like, I need to move on. I need to know what my next chapter in my life is. Do I go out to LA? Do I stay near my brother's house?" You know what I mean? So it's like,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
But I didn't get the spot. So
how do they not hire you? Like, I think when a lot of fans think of like the top 5 women in WWE history, it's like you, it's Trish, it's Lita, it's Molly, and I think you could make a debate there for your Mickie, right? Or Natalya at this point.
Yeah.
Grown
and
into
Jazz and Ivory.
Jazz.
It's just, there's a lot of, my feelings weren't hurt because I didn't get the spot. My feelings were hurt with like going, "Well, I didn't even get a call back to say move on a little bit." That's when I got the boo-boo face, where I was like going, because you're living in your brother's house and he has a daughter and his wife, and I'm like in the spare room. They had a spare room, but I'm living out of like 1 suitcase. And thank God they, don't get toiletries, just use our stuff. And I'm like, I know. I go, but all that whole garage is all my clothes from Chicago. You know what I mean? I don't know what's in there. What do I need to throw away? Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
man,
crazy.
Well, shame on them. Their loss. You're wonderful.
On
that note, you brought up Tori Wilson there. I try to prep for all my interviews, even though I know you really well. I went down memory lane. You and Tori go back like a long time. Like I read this story about how like Tori took you to a WCW show back in the 90s before you had even like signed with WWE, and like you.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even in thought of being a wrestler. No, that wasn't. We used to compete in fitness together.
Okay.
And we were both sponsored by this Team O2, was water that was oxygenized for athletes. Okay. This is back in the day when it first started. Right.
Okay.
And her and I were roommates because we were sponsored by the same. So we had this team O2 that was in Orlando, and we were roommates, and we hit it off right away. And yeah, we became very tight. My ex-husband and I moved in with her first husband in LA. She was living in LA, so we could crash at her house until we find a apartment. We go way back, and then she got signed with WCW. Kevin Nash Kevin Nash helped her out getting that, and she brought me back. I go, you get paid to freaking walk a guy in the ring? Are you kidding me? And they paid very well at WCW. I think they overpaid. That's what the rumor was.
A lot of critics would say in retrospect, that's very true. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. And I'm like, you'll be sitting at home, still make the same money, And she was trying to get me in that in WCW, but they weren't hiring. I guess the financial dilemma, that kind of thing. And I met Chyna at a health club in LA. I was a personal trainer there. And I said, oh, I have two friends that do it, Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson from our fitness industry. And she goes, oh my gosh, she goes, you have a really good look. Are you a wrestler? And I go, I think I could do what the guys do. I go, I was a gymnast. I'm a tomboy, did a little bit of bodybuilding and stuff like that. And so I go, I think I could do it. And she goes, you have a really good look for it. She goes, you should really look into it. Set my stuff in. I heard back in 30 days.
Man.
Of course, I got lucky. I'm not saying I'm all it. I mean, that was a silver platter for me. Like, of course, going in the industry where people are like struggling to try to get in the company, right? And trying to get anything with a platform. And I presented an awesome tryout video. I spent $600 on my tryout video, getting it edited, professionally done, music sounded, special effects, me punching the screen. It says Lisa Marie Varon. I paid someone to do that. I didn't know how to do that myself. You know what I mean? But they called me, JR called me and Kevin Kelly and said, JR has never seen a tape like this. This is so professional. And I go, I'm living in Los Angeles. Everybody presents themselves way more than what they are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. And he's like, and so I had a meeting and started going to UPW. I Googled pro wrestling school. And Godfather was looking for 2 permanent hoes on his hoe train. And so me and this other girl from the UPW, that was our foot in the door. And they didn't know exactly that I was going to wrestling school. And I was like, Jerry Lawler was saying, you need to move to Memphis. We have a school down there that's WWEF, developmental territory.
Peter. Yeah.
And so I went to talk to JR and I was like, everyone's saying I should move to Memphis. And he goes, oh, do you want to wrestle? And I go, I'm going to wrestling school on my off days. Did you not know this? He goes, no, yeah. And so they had a meeting and they gave me a week to move to Louisville. I mean, sorry, not Louisville, Memphis. And my ex-husband and I packed a U-Haul and moved there.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
For a year, and then that Memphis school closed down, and then Louisville, Kentucky, I got transferred to OVW.
Man, how crazy would it have been if WCW had just picked you up, right? Like how different.
I don't know, but I think they were going down because of the financial. Yeah, right? Weren't they having money problems?
Well, yeah, because you debuted for WWE in like 2000, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, they were in the waning days. There was about maybe 12 months left on that, right? But over at WWE,
I debuted 2002, but I was signed in 2000.
Okay, got it. Okay, because that's why I thought it was so interesting that Chyna was the person who referred you, because she was like kind of winding down at the same time that you were coming in. Am I wrong about?
I don't think she thought she was winding down. I think she still thought she was still there. But when I got brought up and I was going through training,
and
then.
So
all that stuff happened,
Chyna has weirdly become something a person I've wound up talking about a lot in a lot of recent interviews. Yeah. What was your memories of her? What was she like? What kind of a friend was she for you?
She was very nice. It wasn't a friend that I can go, hey, can I talk to you about a problem? Because she did like call them and say, hey, you need to look at this girl. I just took her word, like I have a good look for it. I think I can do it.
Got it.
And said Chyna said I had a good look, that kind of thing. And we didn't know each other before. That was my intro. And then she was very nice to me. And there was one day she came in the locker room. She goes, Lisa, she goes, put your boots on and your knee pads. Let's go grapple in the ring. Let's go roll around. And she left, and everybody in the locker room was going, she's never done that before. And I was like, oh, maybe she wants to have an angle with me. I don't know, you know. And so I was so freaking stoked, and I marked out. I got so excited, I spilt something on her, some soda pop or something like that. I go, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh, I'm the new chick, and I just spilled it all over Chyna. And she's like, it's okay. But then she got called to a pre-tape, a backstage segment. And I was like, oh, shit, I was going to go grapple with her. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but she was always nice. And, you know, she paved the way for us people that were not normal shapes and, like, you know, bodybuilding girls that don't look like a model,
Well,
you know, that could.
yeah, I mean, because like, and I hate to cut you off, but like, how is it for you, like watching the last few years of the women's revolution and just being like, oh my God, what I would have done right now? I don't know. Like, is that wild for you?
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Like the last few years, like the women's revolution, like the women getting to do Hell in a Cell, the women getting to like all of the opportunities, you know, where the women are getting to wrestle more like the men, and a lot of the like
and more main eventing, right?
main,
No,
yeah.
I'm not jealous or anything. I'm so proud. Because Trish and I, you know, Lita, we had cage match, we had hardcore match, street fight, and we got to do unusual matches ourselves because of Fit Finley.
Yeah.
And but to see it now, it's you're like, oh, finally. See, these girls can work, man, and they draw viewers too. You know, it's not just the men. We're not just the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? We're in my generation, we're like going, oh, you want a bra and panties match? Let's do a really hard cutoff spot, like where they just like start chanting, holy shit. You know, even though we're in bra and panties, we're just like still going, we're gonna have the best match ever. You know what I mean? We didn't like the fluff.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, I've taken you way over time, Lisa. By the way, I apologize. I did not even look at the clock
okay.
at this moment. I'll bring it back to where we set this thing up for. GAW TV. It's you. It's Val. It's Mickie James. Now, Mickie made a lot of noise. She kind of openly talked about how she like didn't love her booking when she came back to the company. Like, what's it been like working with Mickie recently? What do you think about the way WWE's brought her back into the fold?
You know, we're not in charge of like with the storylines and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
People are like, why did you do that? I'm like, because that's what I was told to do.
Yeah.
You don't go into a movie and go, I don't want to die at the end. It's not your choice. You're an actress. You know, we're bad actresses that do our own stunts.
Yeah.
But working with Mickie and Val, the good thing that came out of the COVID was us having this GAW TV show.
Yeah.
And it's been so much fun. You know, Mickie came up with the idea. It was originally supposed to be with Alicia Fox, but Foxy didn't want to be. I guess she was doing she's doing other businesses right now.
Okay.
And she was talking to SoCal Val, and then my phone, my Voxer, we have Voxer, we're so old school, the walkie-talkie gimmick. Okay. It's a walkie-talkie app.
I know.
And then they reached out to me, hey, would you be part of the show with? And I was like, I didn't even ask what's the show about. I was like, heck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And we're learning as we go. And the good problem is I feel bad for like interviewers that are like going, oh my God, I just emailed her 4 times to be a guest on my show and she hasn't responded. And since we're all very tight with everybody in the community of wrestling, people are calling us, hey, when are you going to have me on GAW? When are you going to have me on GAW? Which is a great problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, of course, I told you I'm so old school. I have a paper calendar.
Oh, look at this.
$1. Yes. Hey, vintage. Look at that.
That
we have to write things down now. Yeah. It's just, yeah. But it's we're having so much fun. We talk, like I wake up in the morning because Val, of course, in the UK, so she's 8 hours ahead. Mickie's 3 hours ahead of 3 hours ahead of me. I'm in California, and I'm waking up to like 76 Vox messages, and I'm like, guys, I'm catching up. Please text. Is there something that you need from me right this second? Text it to me. Don't leave an audio message. I have to listen to all these. But we talk every single day, trying to make the show better and better and better. You know what I mean? So, and Val, God bless her, she's doing a lot of editing, and like, she's so brilliant. This girl, my God, if you ever, I told her I'm doing this interview. I go, hey, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to ask him if he wants to interview you.
Yeah, I've talked to Val many
Yeah.
times. She used to work at.
Okay.
I've had some great
Oh,
chats with Val. I met her more in person. She used to work. I don't know if she still is with Fight, but she was
She
running.
occasionally does stuff with them, I think.
Yeah, she was really active. I know in the early days, she was running a lot of their press and like digital stuff. Like you talk about how smart she is. I agree. I have no idea how she's not with a major promotion right now. Like it's kind of wild to me that she's just like floating out there at the moment, considering how.
And she's like, she does a blog for a fashion, not episode. I don't know the word. I'm not into fashion. So a blog for fashion, like about fashion. And so she does that. She does her own Patreon. Like she has all this other stuff on her own, and she's handling GAW.
Man.
And Mickie and I are like going, how can we help you? And she'll say, just watch. I just sent you the show. Can you watch it for editing problems? And we're like that. We always feel a little guilty not contributing more, but we're not computer savvy. You know what I mean? So, but she's like, oh, she's hilarious too. People are like, oh, she's so funny. And Mickie, I'm having a great time, honestly.
I can hear it in your voice. Like that's so great, Lisa.
Our Wednesdays are our favorite day because it goes on 5 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time, and we're in the live chat with everybody on the side while everybody's watching it. We're in the live chat, so that's why we also like to watch it. We pre-tape it and we watch it first, so we can be more active on the live chat instead of going, okay, I didn't see this episode, I got to pay attention. Oh, you know what I mean? And I'm a slow texter, so like. It's by the time I'm like, oh God, I just answered this question. I forgot who asked that. I have 20 other things have come in. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so slow at this. I got to pick up on that. And plus I'm blind as a bat. So I'm like, they're all like, hey, Lisa, you're typing in caps. And I go, I'm not yelling at you. I can't see what I'm typing because I'm so blind. Welcome to getting older, people. This is your future.
All right. Well, this is a good layup, Lisa, because we're going to drop this. We are dropping this on Wednesday afternoon. So if you're listening to this right now, 5 Eastern, go over, keep the GAW party going right now, and engage.
And don't forget to go to youtube.com/GAW TV show. And don't forget, a lot of people are not clicking that subscribe button or the likes and stuff like that. So we weren't wording right when we were doing our posts and stuff like that. We're forgetting to tell people. We're learning so much about the algorithms.
The algorithms. I hate those things. It's weird.
It's so much to learn. And we found out we were doing like plugging in wrong words and stuff like that. It's just, it's a learning process. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are, it's just, don't forget to click the subscribe, you guys. Click the subscribes. Yes.
Okay.
Right. That's important. People forget to do that. They'll set their reminder, but they don't subscribe. Yeah.
Foolish.
You might see a special guest too. I also box with Cliff Compton, Domino.
Oh boy.
If you want to have him on your show, let me know.
Sure, we could talk about that infamous trip to Nigeria. That's still one of my favorite stories ever. Like how they almost all got kidnapped down there. Him and I believe it was Gallows down there. So.
Really?
I believe Cliff was dead. I'm fairly certain Cliff was a part of that trip. I think him and Gallows.
I'm sure it was not Hassan. Wait.
It was. I'll look it up real fast. Cliff.
¿Cómo se dice? That guy. You remember him? Estrada.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yes. He was part of the infamous.
Okay. Yeah. I did hear this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't remember the whole entire story. I'm like.
Oh, we'll bring you guys. Yeah, if you're having a clip, ask him about the story of Nigeria. That's it's still one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. Is like what happened.
Oh yeah. Well, when you bring him on, I might do a run-in in the middle of his before you hit that story about Nigeria. Okay. Then going before you hit that, Domino. We'll do a special guest that wants to hear about it. You know what I mean?
We'll set it up for post Thanksgiving if that's cool.
Like, yeah. I get it.
You're actually you're my last interview for like another week and a half because I'm like ahead, and then we're gonna run this Wednesday, and I have everything else planned out. So you're my last. This is my send off. That's probably why I'm so relaxed and like spending so much time with you right now.
Yay! Well, happy gobble day, everybody.
Yes. All right.
Oh my God, this is great. Honestly. Oh my gosh, you're already caught. Wow. See, we usually do 2 shows, so we're 2 shows ahead.
Okay.
and then Mickie's travel, and then was I gone? Something happened, like all of us couldn't get together on a day. So now we have this week's episode coming up with Wednesday.
Yeah.
With Jay Lethal. And yeah. And yeah, he's a good dude, huh?
Yeah. No,
one of the nicest people in the business.
Well, him and Gresham right now are killing it in Ring of Honor, like as the tag champs, and then like the whole pure tournament stuff with him and Gresham was really, honestly, just him and Gresham right now, in my opinion, just driving the ship over at Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he's going bonkers, by the way, like this COVID. Yeah,
I'm sure.
But who isn't? But you know what's so weird? I don't know how it is where you're in Chicago, right? What suburb?
I'm in the city proper. I'm on the corner. I'm on the edge of Lincoln Park and Lakeview. So like,
okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. I was going to ask what street, but you don't want people to be knocking on your door.
I'm giving away. I mean, if you follow the crossroads, you could probably get an accurate idea. I mean, I think so. Yeah.
North
side. I'll say that.
North side. Yeah. What was my point on this? But like, even though everything's shutting down again because we're getting the lockdown too.
Yeah.
We're still riding. We got from Costco. We got those electric bikes. Did you see those Jet Pros?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, everybody has an electric bike. Of course, ours is the tiny little cute ones that don't go very fast, but it was inexpensive. And we had to park 5 blocks away for underground parking because our building doesn't have it. We live downtown. You know how downtown is.
Sure.
But most of the places come with parking in Chicago.
Most places, yes.
Or the street, you can find the street. No, it's 2-hour parking on the street here.
Oh.
So, right?
That's
and so everyone has an electric bike. And then when we go out bike riding at night, or after work, or like we bike ride every weekend just to go through the gas lamp district, like, all the bars and stuff like that. And you would think nothing's happening. Like no one's really taking this serious. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a little scary. It's like going, people, put your mask on, man. We're going to be lockdown again. God, we're never going to get out of this. I don't even know when normal is going to be normal,
I'm hoping summer next year. We got more positive vaccine news just this morning. Again, we're recording on Monday, but like now there's like 2 vaccines, and this new one sounds like it's like even more effective and like easier to store than the Pfizer one. So I don't know. Like I don't know what to believe anymore. Wrestlers are already so skeptical as it is. Everything's a work, right? So
yeah.
What?
And also too, like I think most of us wrestlers don't freaking have cable. We have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Philo, and what's my other one? Peacock. I don't have cable, so I'm so clueless on what's going on in the world.
It's all right.
Honestly,
it's better to just close the cave door right now and just kind of wait it out. I think you're gonna be fine.
True that, Nick. True that.
Lisa, you're fantastic. You
aren't you?
I really am happy. We will catch up more regularly, more often. You're one of those people that I always forget that, like, I'm like, no, Lisa's like a friend of yours. You should reach out to her more often. Like,
Totally.
I used to see you all the time. Like, I was at, you were at Candice, were you the one that wrestled Candice Michelle in a retirement match?
Yeah.
That was the last time I saw you was at Blizzard Brawl. That was the last time.
And also, too, about that, too, it's, people are like, oh, that's so great. People want to wrestle you on their last matches. And I'm like, I'm very giving in the ring. I'll let the person get their shit in. I'm the one that I'm like going, what else do you want to do to me? What else do you want to do with me? And instead of me going, oh, I need to get this in. I need to get this in. You know what I mean?
You did this. I hate to cut you, but you sold the knee in the Candice match, and everybody thought you really were injured, and then got the heat. Then you turned on Michelle to get the huge heat in. I remember this match very clearly now. Yeah, that was incredible.
I whipped up tears on that. Which was easy because at the beginning, like, knowing it's her last match, I was very emotional already.
Yeah.
Like going, oh my God, I got to make her look good. And she hurt her knee on that match too, landing incorrectly, on just jumping off the top rope, I think, but she hurt her knee. And see, it's the simplest things that you get injured on too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was emotional on that one. So I don't think people were going to think I was going to get all the way like down I go, just keep on this. When are you going to turn on me? I go, I don't know. I'm just going to feel it. That's just because if they're not believing me, I might even take it in the backstage and then come back out for a bow and then cut you off again. You know what I mean? Because I wanted them to, bite on that stuff. And plus I already have a bad knee anyway. So, you know? Yeah.
It was
But
believable. We were on the hook, my girlfriend Liz, who I'm still with here. I remember her being there.
hey, tell Liz I said hello.
I will. I remember her being very on the hook for that. She was like so blown away because like you were actually like one of her favorite wrestlers because when we met, I go, "Are you a?" Because well, I worked her first and foremost. Like my OK Cupid handle or whatever, I listed myself as sports entertainment journalist, and she had no idea what that meant. And when we met, she's like, "What is a sports entertainment journalist?" I go, "I cover pro wrestling for a living." So I got her through the door by kind of like not telling the whole truth, right?
Yeah.
But
You're still that the title suits you, but you just did like, yeah, you don't elaborate on it, right? I got you. Okay. I can't believe you like the OK Cupid worked out for you. I was on that when I got divorced. OK Cupid, I was on Bumble. I never Tinder.
I bet you get some wild replies on like
but I wouldn't put anything wrestling.
Man.
No, I just said I worked. You know what I did? My job as I worked Comic Cons. I'm not lying.
So wait, nobody ever saw you and was
no. I got when I went on dates, they were like, I need to tell you this. I'm a wrestling fan. And I'd go, so no one really wants to meet Lisa. They want to talk a freak like, so what's Rey Mysterio like? What's this person like? And I'm like, it's a podcast. It's like an interview. And so when I met my boyfriend that I live with now, David. I've met him on Facebook. We had mutual friends, and then I saw that he was Jewish, that we have that in common.
Yeah.
And so I made a comment about Rosh Hashanah or one of the high holidays. Okay.
Yeah.
And he DM'd me, and we started chit-chatting. He goes, I apologize. I don't follow wrestling. I don't know. I know The Rock and Hulk Hogan, and maybe Jake the Snake or something like that. And he was like, we went out.
Yeah.
We went for coffee. We were supposed to go for coffee, which was nice. That's a nice gesture. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he goes, do you like sushi? And I go, I love sushi. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I go, I know a place in San Diego. It's half off appetizers, half off drinks during this time. And he's never dated a girl that would like, hey, there's happy hour. It's cheap to eat that day. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money on me. And I guess he never went on a date like that. And he had a perplexed look on his face and said, I don't want to insult you. I don't know much about your work. And I go, I wouldn't have went on a date with you if you knew anything about me. I go, that would have been a kibosh. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be about, but it is a double-edged sword because now it's like, for example, how much he doesn't know about wrestling. I said this on something else. We went on Jericho Cruise, which I freaking highly recommend to everybody.
Okay.
It's WrestleMania on a boat. We don't have security. We're with all the fans. We're gambling with them. We're walking around and it's just ongoing meet and greet. Ongoing, it's just like it was so great. And then Fozzy played twice a day. There's panels and freaking AEW was wrestling. I mean, it's a freaking wrestling fan's dream to be on that. And it's not too expensive, and was on that. And David goes, there's that guy that's older that you're friends with. I forgot his name. And I look up and I go, oh, that's Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. He's Nature Boy. He's known as he didn't know who that was.
What?
That's how clueless.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're like, I love you. You're the perfect man.
It was. Yeah. And he got to live in my world because, he'll ask a lot of questions. What was his character like? And then, I don't want to talk about wrestling 24/7.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, and he'll ask, who's your next guest? And I go, Jay Lethal. And he's like, I go, just watch the show. Just watch. I go, if you might tell you what he does, you're not going to know what he does. You know what I mean? So like, just watch. He asks a lot of questions, that kind of thing. But, it's nice that he doesn't know very, very much of it because but again, he doesn't know anything about it.
It was first of all, I love the visual, and like I feel like you should write a scene or something for a movie or a play or a TV series of you having to go on these online dates that become podcast interviews, which I imagine is like the most uncomfortable thing ever. Anyway.
Okay. I don't know how people date. ODB's still single, okay?
Okay.
And her and I used to exchange stories all the time, and we were both going to do a show about it. But of course, I met my boyfriend David, and I was like, I'm not going to talk about my dating life. I don't want to hear about exes and stuff like that. If he brought it up, I don't want to know anything about it. It's like, that's your past. I don't care about your past. We're different people. You grow and you're just, like the stories I tell him from wrestling, I'm like, he goes, oh my God. And I go, yeah, I'm not that person anymore though. I go, I look like when I tell you, I can't believe that's me because I'm a completely different person now. You know what I mean? But the dating scene, especially now, imagine going on a date with a face mask.
I can't. Well, and the thing is now it's like you don't even get to go meet somebody on a first date. Now you got to do like a video call with somebody or like a couple video calls before you feel comfortable to like go. Because I have single friends right now, and they're walking me through what they're going through, and I'm like, I'm so glad I got me a girl locked down 2 years ago before this thing all happened.
Mine's 2 years. Mine's 2 years too. Oh my!
So we've had enough.
Even though it's not during the COVID time. You and I were in the normal scene, and even that was hell.
That was
to go through dating.
Yes, and well, the thing too is it's like we had like that 2 years of dating before the pandemic, so like we had enough time to get used to living with each other before having to like be on top of each other for whatever this year and a half is going to be, right?
Yeah.
I count my lucky stars every day that I met this girl of my dreams and am in that situation. It is, I can't even imagine doing it. But anyway.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sorry. I know I'm going to talk a little bit longer, but
no, I was going to say the only reason I say so like back to the so in my profile I say sports entertainment. She didn't know what that was. Fooled her a little bit.
Did she watch wrestling? Did she know what pro wrestling was?
See, here's the thing, Lisa. She watched the CW SmackDown from like the mid 2000s, right? And she knew you. And so when we got to go see you and Candace, she was like geeking out because she has no frame of reference really outside of SmackDown on the CW from the mid 90s. She didn't watch pay-per-view. She didn't watch Raw. She just watched SmackDown on the CW network. And so she knew you from that.
Oh my God. That's awesome. I love her. Oh my God.
I know.
I made an impact. Oh my God.
Yeah. She knew
Holy
you.
Shit,
she's like, my favorites are you, Trish, and Lita. That's her Mount Rushmore.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I'm in good company. Oh my gosh. But like about going back to that dating thing.
Sure.
The apps are but I get it. Like how like you don't really go to bars single and go on, oh, I'm looking to hook up or anything like that. You kind of want to know a little bit, have a conversation with them. But it's all, I want a relationship. They don't want a relationship. For the guys, they say they want a relationship. They don't. It's more like a one night. They're looking to, I went on one date and he's like going, oh, so are we going back to your place or mine? And I go, I'm sorry. I go, did you think this date went well? I go, he was on the phone with his ex-wife about his daughter. Like, no, you need to take her. And of course I was very nice going, don't ignore the calls, go outside. That's your child. I go, if he would have ignored it, I'd been done with the date. I'm like, oh, you're a bad husband and bad father, but it was a bad date. And he was like, my place or your place? And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you think this date went well? And he goes, oh, it didn't? And I go, and I thought he's joking.
Yeah.
And he's like, and first of all, he's like, didn't eat or drink, order anything to eat. And I was like, are you going to order anything? Nothing. I was so uncomfortable. And I was like, whoa, I don't think I like dating. I was like, this is terrible. I don't like it. I'm like, God. And you never know what you're going to meet,
Man, I got one really bad one. You want to hear my worst on?
Yeah.
You want to hear the bad one?
Yeah, of course.
So
of course.
I feel like we're Jaws.
Let's go down to the basement. Let's go down basement and what is it? Do karate? Of course. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong line. Do you want to see something really cool?
Sure.
Of course. Do you remember Step Brothers?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, it did. I didn't wind up doing karate with anyone in their basement. That didn't happen.
Okay.
But like, okay, so I go on this date with this girl, and my girlfriend's heard this story. And so like I go on this date with this girl, and she's Eastern European, right? And she had this accent. It's fine, So we're out on a date, we're at a bar, we're shooting darts, and we just start talking about reading books, right? Pretty innocuous,
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I just finished reading my friend Bill Apter's book. He's a good friend of mine. I'd really cool to get to know his story.
Did she know wrestling?
No, well, that's not where this is.
Oh, okay.
And she goes, who's Bill Apter? I go, oh, he's this funny old Jewish man who covers pro wrestling. He's like one of my best friends. I swear to God, Lisa, she looked at me. She stopped playing darts. She looked at me and she goes, Jews. Like, really judgy. And like...
Aren't you Jewish?
I was brought up Catholic. I don't know what I am.
Okay.
But like, I'm pro-Jew. I'm like friendly with Jewish people. Bill Apter is a great friend of mine. I have a lot of very Jewish. So
and she's in Chicago.
Yeah, well, she was obviously from Eastern Europe.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so I just, Lisa, I have never had somebody just be like blatantly anti-Semitic in my presence, and like she defended it and like started to talk to me about how Jews rule the world and all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there like I don't even know. I mean, like I told her what she said was wrong.
Yeah, you did. Where did the date go from there? You're playing darts. You're talking. She brings that up.
I believe I had a period in my head where I thought to myself, well, you don't know who her crazy Nazi friends might be, so like you can't tell her off because like who knows who else she's gonna go back to that would probably maybe find you. So I was like, I don't believe that. I think that is not true. Thank you for this time. Got the check and I left. But it was just like a hard
Did
stop.
she try to give you a hug goodbye? She was like
and she kind of was like wondering what happened. And I'm like, what? What do you mean what happened? You're an anti-Semite. Anyway.
Oh my God.
That was the worst story I ever had on an online date. That was the absolute worst. So yeah.
Holy shitballs.
Yeah, you never know.
Batman. Holy shitballs, Batman.
Yeah, that one was bad.
Oh my God.
Anyway, well, Lisa, we went Broadway here today. We went over an hour.
We did Broadway.
I know.
Yes, we did.
There's the classic Nick Hausman. I just need 20.
And I'm not even blown up. I'm not blown up yet.
Well, see, that's so this is perfect example of like GAW TV, right? You guys aren't sitting around. This isn't, God bless Conrad Thompson and the economy he's created for pro wrestling, but this is not, let's take each pro wrestling match we ever did, break it down. You and your friends are just giving people insight into stories like this about dating and whatever else is going on in your life, right?
We're normal people. I think people forget that we're normal. We're like struggling to pay our bills too. Like, it's a pandemic. We're all feeling it. You know what I mean? It's crazy times. And I think people think that we're driving in Mercedes and like, all this, living in a penthouse, and it's baffling what they think, I'm like,
yeah,
like right now I go, I just dropped by my boyfriend at work so I can have the car. You have one car? We live downtown San Diego. We have to pay for a parking spot. Yes, we have one car. We're going to be on a budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, Lisa, where do you want to send people to find GAW TV and follow it, support it, all those great things?
Yeah, we're on social media platform. SoCal Val has a social media, but we're more focused on Instagram at GAW TV. Twitter's at the GAW TV, I believe. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel, GAW TV Show. GAW TV Show, and it's all three of us, our faces on it, close up in black and white and bordered with pink. So it's getting good. We're getting some good conversations with old friends. So yeah, not the average interview. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're in PJs and drinking wine. It's gonna be a car wreck sometimes.